Bonjour, bonjour à tous. Bonjour et bienvenue. Venez vite vous asseoir. Merci
Good
d'être là.
morning. Welcome. Please have a seat. I'm glad to have you with us today. Thank you for being with us this morning. It's great to have you with us here. Welcome to those who are present here. I know some of you have come far. And welcome to those who are with us online. I think that there are a very large number who are with us online. Thank you for being with us. We're about 1,500 altogether for today. You're here to accompany us and take part in this day, in this event, to think and reflect on the transformation of our textile sector. It's our second event, and today we chose to have the programming and by the journalists of WE DEMAIN, which is specialized and which highlights all of the initiatives and programs for today. Today, the subject is transformation. This is the crucial topic which is going to mobilize all of the stakeholders through the different elements of the life cycle: production, consumption, regeneration. Today, we're going to discuss, we're going to talk about eco-design, innovation, territory, reduction, repair, and of course, recycling. The godfather of the edition is the sociologist Jean Viard, who you will listen to later. And I express the wish that his confident, optimistic view motivate us today and in the future. So now I'd like to invite Éloi Chopin to join us. Éloi is going to be today's moderator. Éloi, you have the floor. I wish all of you an excellent day and see you soon. Thank you, Maud. It is our pleasure to welcome on this scene Véronique. Véronique, who is in fact president of the National Council on the Circular Economy. Good morning, everyone. Maud, Éloi, dear friends, thank you for giving us this opportunity of making the introduction for today's work. I was presented as an elected deputy of the first district of Haute-Savoie. The territory is very dynamic, but we have limited resources. So right from our first commitment, it was obvious that we were going to work on sustainable development to change our way of producing and consuming and to be at the heart of the circular economy. This is a theme that I served throughout my first elected term. I was a rapporteur on the circular economy, and now I've been elected to be president of the National Council of the Circular Economy in France. As a legislator, we find ourselves in an ecosystem which calls upon us to change the lives of people. That is the approach I have committed myself to. And I think that this is something the AGEC has in fact structured our sector, all of this ecosystem. And I must say, we're very proud of what you are in France. These eco bodies, we have a specificity at the national level. And I'm happy to be able to contribute to this on a regular basis. I'm contacted from people throughout the world to relay the model which is yours. Having said this, there are some important challenges, especially in your sector. Before the AGEC law, your financing was very unique, and 2023 is going to see significant changes as far as financing is concerned. Before, the financing came essentially and uniquely from the sorting activity, but now the challenges is going to depend on the collection as well, 39% to 50%. I hope that these various systems are going to be financially helped. You know that sorting is something which is organized by associations, by the ecosystem, by all the business models around sorting. There is still a challenge with regards to the downstream aspects of our ecosystem. That is to say, if we massify this collection in the sorting sector downstream, there's a really important element, which is traceability. It's, you know, that 91% of the elements collected, redistributed, are in fact going to be reused. Some of them go abroad. And I think that it's important to have greater traceability because our collective responsibility at the planet level concerns the products that we send abroad as well. So these were just a few words of introduction to, explain what I am as a legislator, whereby this has been at the outset of the genesis of this law, the AGEC. So as an elected deputy to the Chamber of Deputies of France, I continue to be a very interested player, very mobilized with regards to your subjects. You can continue to count on my commitment to support you and your projects, and we can hope that innovation and the transformation of our model will lead to an efficient business model. I wish you an excellent day, very successful work, and I'm very happy to have met with you again. I wish you an excellent day. Thank you, Madam Deputy. Thank you. So I think that at this point, it is my turn to set the rules of the game for all of the people who will take the floor, those of you online, but also those of you who are here in the room. So thank you for your welcome. Today is going to be an important day in terms of listening, sharing. We're going to have exchanges during the informal moments of the coffee break as well. And you need to know that at the end of the morning and throughout the day, there will be, in fact, room set aside to prolong exchanges among yourselves with the help of more moderators from Refashion. It's clear that all of our exchanges today will take place together, not just with me and you online, but all of us together with your questions. And I have a game for you that the internauts can play as well. So when I say you, the internauts, that might be a bit pejorative, but I'm speaking to all of you who are behind your screens. Tell us, can you see the tool whereby you could ask questions? You can ask questions and tell us at the same time where you are attending, from where you're attending, who you are as well. And this way, we'll have an idea of what are the territories present, who is following this day of discussions. So all your questions can be sent via the tool, and nothing will be thrown away. Everything will be used. We will reprocess all this information. We might not be able to answer all of you today, but nothing is going to be thrown away. There's a cloud of words as well online, but you here as well in the room. Online, you have a word cloud, and you can enter a word that starts with the letters RE. And little by little, this is going to generate an enormous cloud of words starting with the letters RE. And this around Refashion. We're going to ask you questions. We're going to have you participate in the room, but also online. We're going to play a game as well. So you see, this is truly a hybrid event. And let me add that you online and you here, you can, if you can use your telephone to tweet, to share through LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, etc. This is an extraordinary power that you have in your hand, because in 2022, all of those who have the possibility of thinking about the trends on the social media networks, etc., will take advantage. And here you want to use the hashtag Refashion Day. And the hashtag is here in the room, but also online on Twitter. Share what you see, share what you hear with others. And this will enable you to start a discussion with your various communities. This morning, we're going to explore a key word, which is obvious to you, but this is regeneration. This afternoon, we will talk about design, territories, exchange, initiatives, and consumption as well. So it's important that we clearly define the different subjects and keywords. So a big day ahead of us, a very rich word day as well. So these are these messages that you will share. You will be actors today. So, he's been looking at our country face on for years now, looking at his readings. He has borne testimony. We went to see him, to ask him questions, to ask him what is his view of the changes underway, the transformations, the changes in our consumption modes, habits, and rhythm. So, what does he think of the acceleration, the rapid acceleration that has taken place? He is the godfather of our day. I'm speaking of Jean Viard. Sylvain Pironard from the Prod Group has indeed interviewed Jean Viard. An optimistic view on the transition. COVID-19 has reminded us of our being part of nature. What can we say about the growing number of climate catastrophes?
Et qui a complètement bouleversé l'humanité. Donc, je veux dire, ça, on l'a senti violemment, puisqu'on sait que ça s'est passé comme ça, très probablement. Et on sait aussi que ça s'est passé parce qu'on a tellement conquis de terre, dégagé de terre, etc., qu'on a une proximité avec les animaux sauvages, y compris, qu'il n'y en avait pas avant, parce qu'il y avait beaucoup moins d'humains et on occupait beaucoup moins d'espace. Donc ça, c'est la question derrière. Derrière ça, je crois que ce qu'on a tous compris avec cette pandémie, c'est que c'est une rupture dans l'histoire humaine. Demandez-vous ce qu'on se racontera dans 300 ans, que 5 milliards d'hommes se sont enfermés chez eux pour
history. Here all of a sudden you had these billions of human beings locked down at home, 5 billion people locked down at home waiting for vaccines. Usually we fight each other, but here all of us together fought together to find a solution. Man is an animal like others, monotheistic, yes. Generally, in Asia, there is nature, the surnature. Here we're in a new period. We will say that René Descartes has lost and we've come back to the animal world. What is the margin of action for individuals in the ecological transition? I think that the pandemic is a kind of alarm. It is a major alarm. There were 40 million dead and others. We figured that we could react through different approaches, scientific approaches. Without internet, what we have done, we spend our time looking at others. We have tools. If we can do this once, we can do this again. We can have the same behavior, imitate gestures, techniques, work together on science. This was an alarm bell showing that this is that humanity can fight to win. It is a creative tragedy. I think we will win the battle against climate change thanks to this pandemic, respecting the tragedy and those who died. How can the textile industry come out of this era with greater sobriety? I think that people's expenses for clothing has decreased. It's like eating less meat, drinking less wine. It doesn't mean that you don't like these goods anymore. It's because you are consuming in a different way. All of the recycling economy has become honorable. When I was a student, we would go to Moulet in Marseille to buy used jeans because people were poor. But it was for economic criteria, whereas today it's very chic to say, you see my vest, my jacket is 10 years old, but it's beautiful. So we incorporate the image and the memory of the object. And this is part of my identity. But this is just part of what has happened. It's quite clear that this industry, the whole clothing issue, is going to be confronted by this. Are we going to accept that jeans that have traveled 1,000 kilometers, are we going to accept this? I think that we're going to come back to the essential. The economy is going to restructure center itself around the local, but also the life approach. The fact of buying, gas from the Russians. In the war, we bought shells from the Germans. I think that the textile industry is going to enter that territory of an economy for life. How are we going to redefine our relationship to clothing to be more sober? I think that what is changing today is that the society, the salary-based society, has social codes, which are, an economy where you have shorts for women, shorts for men. The T-shirt has regained the place it had before. The jeans had this and shorts today. So the leisure codes, in fact, occupy people's ideas. Paris Plage, for example, 400,000 participants. It's a beach in Paris, but nothing more. But it's a message. People are happy. So with this logic, we're going to go, in fact, to clothing which have a certain idea, like shorts, etc. This might not prevent us from wearing ties in a certain situation. You shouldn't think that the world is going to totally change, but look at the world today. Who wears a tie? Following the pandemic, 10% of French have changed their way of life and are looking to be sober. 10% have already changed their ways. 2 to 3 million French have moved. People have left their jobs. In the U.S., 48 million people quit their jobs. In Asia, things have changed. Couples have broken up. Couples don't break up overnight. They have to find schools for their children, etc. You have couples have split. You have, people are going to try to escape. So it's a process. You have a galloping horse. You have a snapshot view where you see some people have changed already, but the horse continues to gallop. We don't know how long he's going to do this. I think there'll be fewer and fewer people who live in the big metropolises, but people will go to them more often. When you look at the metropolitan area, you have students, tourists, people who are passing through. As far as inhabitants are concerned, it's the people who keep the city alive. Otherwise, people are disseminating themselves. People have changed their approach to the territory, their expenses as well. Maybe you'll spend 5 days in town, maybe not. There are a whole series of processes. As far as clothing is concerned, it's hard to summarize things, but let's look what happened in the pandemic. People changed their clothes less because they went to the office less. Look at bras. During the pandemic, people stopped wearing bras. People started wearing something which gave more freedom to the body, something which was less constrictive. So I think we're going towards things which are less masculine from the social code point of view. You have to be attentive to this. It's very positive. What are the concrete reasons to express hope? Well, I think the reasons why we should be optimistic is because we can win the climate change battle. 3 years ago, I wouldn't have been sure that we could, but I think that now we can win the climate change battle because of the fact that science is at the heart of the solution. We can change cultural behavior all over the planet. That we can change behavior, change clothing, change timetables, hours, etc. We can perhaps travel far less often. Tourism is evolving as well. All of these elements mean, in fact, that humanity can carry out a collective battle on the subject of climate, because climate is a planetary issue. There's no point in trying to save climate only in your village. In addition to that, society is becoming more and more local. I think that tomorrow, the keywords are local and recycle. The Americans call this a forest economy. That is to say, an economy means large trees, small trees, dead trees, growing trees. That's what the economy is all about. That's one of the issues. That's part of the battle. And the other part of the battle is the evolution in behavior carried by the media. Obviously, there's the conspiracy aspect, which can change things. And, there's also the question of the awareness of a low carbon economy. It's important that this evolution accelerate. The electric car, we see that the oil companies are no longer the major actors. Are there others who are going to take their place, like we've done in other sectors, planes, rockets? You have new players who are dominating the world. So are these new players going to dominate? Are others going to disappear? New ones appear in the scene? So we cannot put all our hopes in the same thing. You should not stop the hope of society. I think that the human being is an extraordinary species. When we look at what's happening, people who have gone back to the countryside to live with dogs, cats, etc. So more and more, we're going to ask ourselves how we can advance with the folly which is part of mankind. So we can applaud Jean Viard, even if he's not here physically, he's with us. We'd like to thank Jean Viard and the team from Camat Prod who went to interview him.